As I've stated repeatedly, that the Democratic Party was a victim of a cybercrime, and I don't peddle in what I call the illegal dumping of private emails in the public sphere that have been altered, that have been in many cases readapted, that have been altered, that have been in many cases readapted.
You have proof that it was Russia?
Sir, as we've stated, and the United States government has also stated, and if you would like a copy of the Department of Homeland Security and the information that they released, if you would like a copy of the Department of Homeland Security and the information that they released, we have ample evidence. We've been the victim of a cybercrime. We have ample evidence. We have ample evidence through our service of the Department of Homeland Security and the information that they released, have ample evidence through our service of the Department of Homeland Security and the information that they released.
Elaborate more on what the DHS's connection with the DNC was, or consultation with the DNC was after you became aware of the hacking and they became aware of the hacking, as to what was offered them, what they accepted. Was there any level of cooperation at all?
To my disappointment, not to my knowledge, sir. And this is a question I asked repeatedly when I first learned of it. You know, what are we doing? Are we in there? Are we helping them discover the vulnerabilities? So I was anxious to know whether or not our folks were in there. And the response I got was FBI had spoken to them. They don't want our help. They have CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity firm. And that was the answer I got after I asked the question a number of times over the progression of time.
I would just say, maybe it's editorializing my part, that really is, to me, an unusual response by the DNC. I mean, if you're talking about presidential election, you have an unprecedented amount of cyber hacking by a foreign power, an adversary from my point of view, and that they would not accept all the help that could possibly be given. Especially, I mean, it's not as if, not that you would be partisan or anyone else, but it's not even like it was a Republican administration trying to intrude into the DNC. This is a impartial governmental entity, FBI, DHS, and they didn't accept it. I just find it very hard to, to comprehend.
Well, my interest in helping them was definitely a nonpartisan interest.
I know that, yeah.
And I recall very clearly that I was not pleased that we were not in there helping them patch this vulnerability.
Director Comey, let me talk about forensics for just a minute, because the FBI has the expertise there. And I know there's tremendous investigative value when the FBI is actually able to conduct their own forensics review on devices that have suffered cyber intrusions and attacks. I believe there's some confusion, though, or at least some conflicting reporting as to whether the FBI requested access to the DNC's services, the Democratic Congressional Committee servers, and John Podesta's personal devices. Did the FBI request access to those devices to perform forensics on?
Yes, we did.
And would that access have provided intelligence or information helpful to your investigation and possibly to the findings included in the intelligence community assessments?
Our forensics folks would always prefer to get access to the original device or server that's involved. So it's the best evidence.
Were you given access to do the forensics on those servers?
We were not. We were a highly respected private company, eventually got access and shared with us what they saw there.
But is that typically the way the FBI would prefer to do the forensics, or would your forensics unit rather field the servers and do the forensics themselves?
We'd always prefer to have access hands-on ourselves, if that's possible.
Do you know why you were denied access to those servers?
I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure.
Was there one request or multiple requests?
Multiple requests at different levels, and ultimately what was agreed to is the private company would share with us what they saw.